Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Long Voyage. It's been a while since we did this. Since we did this group last. This has been due to some real life issues that complicated things for a few of us, myself included. For that reason, for the next couple of months, this is going to be a bi-weekly group, but the plan is that from the beginning of May we should be back on a weekly schedule. But until then, those of you who follow this series, unfortunately, you're going to have to make do with every second week. But that doesn't mean that we don't need a recap from last time. So for the last couple of times, actually. Chris, if you would do the honors.
Thank you, GM. Well, technically, rather than saying last time on the Long Voyage, I'm going to say the time before last on the Long Voyage. The intrepid heroes and wanderers left the Lotus Lands, got back on the Fargo Fair, and set sail to lands unknown. We came across a ship which we found out was a Phelan ship and went to attack it, but discovered only too late that it was in fact a plague ship, and that some of us had gotten on board, and that therefore we had contaminated our ship with plague, and so slow and painful deaths await. I'm sure some of us, but we'll get to that when we do. There was a brief change up in the schedule of events in the last session we played, because we did a flashback at the behest of our GM, who wanted to tell a very personal and heartfelt story, which we did, and which I think personally was played out very well considering. But now we get to return to our adult travellers and their current plight.
Indeed. And yes, so basically when we rejoin you, we when we saw this ship and crew the last time, it was sort of in a bird's eye perspective of a of you pulling away from a Phelan ship, and this Phelan ship obviously being the plague ship that you had encountered, and the problem being that some of you did in fact get on board that ship, and now the question of course remains how badly affected you are going to be. You do have a very skilled healer on board ship, but even with his considerable skills, a Southlander ship is obviously, let's just say that it's phenomenal cosmic powers and itty bitty living conditions, which means that you're going to be squeezed in quite tightly together, and if one person gets ill, and if it is contagious, which you have every reason to believe that it is, then yeah, basically, you're going to risk contaminating each other very easily on a ship like this.
Yes, but that's unfortunately a situation we have to deal with. I'm sure that there are ways of trying to minimise exposure in regards to positioning, seating, and whatnot. But we have very little options, as you say. This is an enclosed space, and contagious diseases like plague have nowhere else to go, really.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you do?
Panic. Well, not panic. That's the word.
Run around in little circles.
Throw ourselves into the sea and spare our comrades the. Well, we can't really do that because the captain joined us, so he might be contaminated for all we know.
Yes.
But then he has a special destiny ahead of him, perhaps, so he might have plot armor. Anyway, so I wonder if I have anything. If Sindri has anything in his character sheet that would actually allow him to have some knowledge of what to do in situations like this.
That's a good question. I think normally we would confer with Gylfi.
Yes.
A little late. He's stuck in traffic.
He's stuck in traffic, the poor guy. But he will join us.
Yes, ironically. Let's pose.
Could be a health check.
Possibly.
Health is actually just to see about your own health, but it could. This, I think, is a crewman test. Because
Oh, right, that would make sense.
because obviously this is something that, being part of a crew, you need to know how to deal with.
Yes.
You shall have one of those.
Whoops.
That's bad. That's even worse.
Oh, that's a critical failure.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And the ship!
Over.
Sindri basically
have,
barely avoids his a critical failure, but Frothy actually does get a critical failure.
Oops.
Oh, power, stay away from me.
Do you?
None of you actually managed
Right.
this. Frothy,
But
you're
it's less than Sindri and Frothy.
yes, Frothy is actually pretty sure that the only thing you can do is, as soon as people start showing signs of disease, is to throw them overboard.
Yes, that makes
I
perfect
can't
sense.
imagine that can't imagine the captain is best pleased with that suggestion.
It might not be a good idea to actually voice it.
Burn it with fire. If someone is sick, burn them and throw them overboard. To not risk contamination or something like that.
Right. No, it's clear that none of us have ever. It's clear that none of us have actually dealt with this before.
No.
So.
No.
Do any of the NPC crew have anything to contribute?
The only one who actually seems to have the first clue about what to do in a situation like this, obviously, coming across actual plague ships is a rare occurrence for obvious reasons, and thank goodness for that, because, you know, ouch. But the only
Yeah.
person who's got any kind of personal experience with this is Black Sweetie, who steps up and says that he has he was on board a ship in which disease broke out a few years back, and the only thing he can think of that can be done is to seek the nearest harbor as quickly as possible, because if any of the people on board this ship are not yet sick, you need to be able to sequester the people who are sick. You need to be able to put them into quarantine before they infect everyone. And he also says those who were on board that ship need to get out of their clothes right now, throw them overboard, put something else on, and but only after they've washed.
That sounds cold, but I'm certain Frodi will be doing it ASAP.
Yes.
Sindri gruffly says, "What about our armor, our weapons?"
Your armor and weapons, unfortunately, we can't throw away. But that will need to be... You will need to actually, wash them, believe it or not. And then, we know that you're going to be spending the next 4 days re-oiling everything, but,
We could wash everything and put all their armors in a corner, so we don't actually have anything to do with it.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Do that.
Yeah,
Right.
We don't need it while we're on ship, only if we get attacked anyway.
So those of you who were on board, led by the captain, get out of all your clothes and hop in the ocean.
I'm
Yep.
so happy that strength is something you use to swim.
Yes.
Yes.
The people are
Well-
nearby to help keep you above water if you don't know how to swim, but
Well, I mean,
and you don't need...
we've
sorry.
done what. We've done what Freddie suggested. We've thrown ourselves overboard. Now all they need to do is sail away.
Yes.
Yay!
Thing is, you don't need to be you don't need to check for swimming in this situation. It's not you're not in any immediate danger of sinking or
Oh,
anything.
swimming
of the
is
sort.
the health thing. Okay.
Yes. So you are
So how cold is the water?
very. It's
Yeah.
it's miniature shrinkage time.
Yeah, I figured.
We can hereby conclude that Ilva's boobs can now cut diamond.
Pretty much. I was
Mhm.
about to say, when you guys get out of the water, you're all fairly certain that your nipples would, actually break a sword by now.
The
Um,
healer has
Guilty.
joined us.
Yay! We have Gylfi.
But applause, that's got a woo.
So, yes.
Also, this means that
So,
this means which. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
yeah, clothes have been thrown overboard. Armor has been, folded up and wrapped very carefully after having been rinsed out. You need to, or it hasn't been rinsed out yet, but it's been wrapped up in oilskin and put in, in safe storage in a box somewhere. And you're pretty much, Ormer, as soon as he gets back on board and gets a pair of dry breeches on him, he looks worried, very worried. In fact, he says to the helmsman, that would be Ilva normally, but she's right now, she needs to get dressed as well, so it's the other helmsman on board. Obviously, you normally have to, one actually has to sleep from time to time, let's face it.
Yeah.
So
The other helmsman is pretty lucky that Ilva doesn't need that much sleep at night.
Indeed, but normally the other person who would take the helm would actually be Grani. So
Yes.
he's currently on the helm, and he looks Ormer looks at his adopted brother and just nods, and Grani hauls on the steering oar, and you all turn, and Ormer says, every single one of you will be on the oars for as long as you possibly can every day. We're going to keep the sail raised, and we're going to make for the nearest shore as fast as we can. This is we are potentially in very serious trouble here. So don't spare yourselves. We need to get to land. And he goes to he puts a tunic on, and then he takes his seat at one of the oars as well, and he makes sure that whoever was on board that ship, they sit together. I mean, it's a small thing because you're all still so close together on the ship anyway, but he does what he can to at least keep those who were on board the plague ship
Gathered, so the
gathered.
ones who weren't doesn't get. Yeah.
Exactly. You're minimizing the contact, basically. And
Ilva is happy to take the oars because that was fucking cold. I need warmth.
Yep, that's a good idea.
so you start hauling on the oars, and you start sailing, and it's obviously you have quite a while to go before you reach land. You are out at open sea in unknown waters, and with only a fairly vague idea of what direction to go in order to get where you need to go. And as you sail for the better part of a day and a night, and I need all of you to roll 1d6, and I need each of you to tell me odds or evens.
Well, for me, I will say even.
Yep, Frothy, you get sick.
Oh, I don't even get to make a health check.
I need to know if you get... no, the health check is to see how well you fight back against it.
Okay.
I need to know, Ilva, if you wanted odds or evens before you roll. Aya, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I keep forgetting that I have push to talk. I'm sorry.
That's alright.
I said odds.
All
right before I rolled, but I forgot there was a push to talk, so of course you didn't hear that.
No.
That's just typical, right?
It happens. It happens. I need.
I'm going to try rolling.
I need a roll from the rest of you as well, and I need an
Okay,
odds or evens from you.
I declare evens.
Right. There you
No.
go. Sindri is also coming down with something nasty, and then I need something from Gylfi as well. Do you want odds or evens?
Well, Gylfi is always going odds.
He's always
That's-
And people-
The
Oh
odds
my
do
God.
not favour you.
The
Damn.
dice really do not favor you guys.
I
It's
always
just
put
like-
in normal dice.
Ilva's the only one who isn't sick from this little group now.
Yeah.
You can fight it! Go, 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 go!
The plague took one look at Ilva and said, "Fuck that! I'm not
Nope,
going
fuck
anywhere
that
near."
shit. It's that woman is going to beat me with a really big hammer, and no, just no.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's already declared she'll kick this disease with a hammer. I'm not going near it. Nope.
nope. She's the only one who seems to be unaffected out of your little group. Ormer actually looks like he might have avoided it as well, at least at first. But on the second day, he's starting to sweat and look ill as well. And that is when we need Gylfi to start working his. Well, I almost said his magic, but obviously
I were about to say the same.
it's not
Work
quite.
your magic, Gylfi!
It's not quite magic, but it might as well be.
Yeah.
If you have the skill first aid, can you help him?
No, this requires more than first aid.
Oh, okay. I have tactics.
This is a complicated disease and can't be fixed simply
Yeah,
by
this
first aid.
needs medical training, not just knowing how to
Yeah.
find a bleeding wound.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But as far as I recall, Gylfi has quite a bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it! Save us all!
Roll.
Screw that, save Volma.
So it's what, folk medicine?
Yes, folk medicine, indeed, precisely.
Good.
Yes.
Woo!
Gylfi is doing good. That was for the captain, and then I need another roll for each of the others. Yourself included.
San Silva.
Sansilva, yes, because she's fine.
I don't know.
Ooh.
Let's roll 1d3 who this was, because I don't know.
I'll just take them in order as they were rolled. So that would be Frothy.
Sure.
Sindri?
Roll
The
before
next
me.
is Shindri.
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 Shindik.
When did
Yes.
a certain Scotsman turn up?
Right now.
I'm not going to share too much tonight because of my speech
Ooh.
Exactly.
understanding.
That's
now
actually
you
really
just need
nice.
3 ones.
Yes, that is
A crit.
That's a crit.
Yes,
That's a crit.
critical success on.
Yes. Right.
And
Let's,
Sindri.
that was on Sindri, and then yourself. Yes. Right.
Save yourself.
Here's what happens. Sindri, for some reason, has been you weren't attacked quite as badly as the others for whatever reason. He manages, through the most disgusting experience you can probably remember having had, he manages to actually get it out of you. And the process for Sindri involves, literally involves bleeding, because your temperature is rising very, very, very rapidly. And bleeding, while it might seem like it would weaken you, does also lower your temperature, your body temperature. So
Yes.
he takes a certain amount of blood out of you, and your blood smells foul when it comes out of you.
Yeah.
And
Delightful.
and after he's taken some of that out of you, you are given salt water to drink, just a couple of mouthfuls, but it's enough to make you throw up. So basically, he's emptying you of bodily fluids, and that is enough. I mean, obviously, you feel absolutely fucking awful, but that is only for about a day, and the treatment works. You are actually cured of this. That has the added bonus of leaving you immune to this.
Right,
Nice.
I'll be happy to continue helping out my comrades then.
Yes. For the rest of you, he keeps the infection. He keeps the infection at bay, but he can't actually cure you. He doesn't have the medicines required to keep you from. Yeah.
I ain't no Jesus.
Okay, so it's up to our bodies, basically.
It's up to your bodies, which means that on
Up to
the
your health.
yes, on the following day, I need each of you to roll me a health check, and you get a -4 on your health score.
Fucking hell.
Let's see, if I press it, will it allow me to enter a modifier?
It usually will.
Nope. It just rolled it, which is unfortunately, because at a -4, I was just 1 from hitting.
Oh.
Jeez. That's
Wilfred
bad.
doesn't manage either. How about
Wait. Let's try luck at
I
this.
don't have to roll.
no? You don't have to roll because you're not.
I'm-
sick,
I'm-
obviously.
But
I'm fine.
Sindri doesn't either.
No.
Alma does.
Ormer does indeed. Ormer does. Let's get a roll from him.
Didn't they get bonuses from Gilfie's help though?
No. This is they get the roll at all. Otherwise, if he hadn't helped them,
Okay.
they would have just gotten more and more ill.
So it's
Yes.
something our body can't fight without.
Without
I mean-
help.
I mean, it's plague.
Well, I mean, even for plague, a disease usually is a body has an immune system for a reason.
Yeah, he doesn't manage his role either, which means that by the next day you are still sick, but you are not significantly weakened by it. And by this point, Gylfi, you have a pretty good idea that there are 2 ways that this disease, 3 ways this disease can be brought to an end. The first one is, if you're lucky and like you were with Sindri, where you caught it early enough and you could get it out of him, that would have worked, but you're certain that point has now been passed for the rest of you, so that won't work anymore. The other solution is that you let the disease burn itself out. Basically, you help your friends and yourself to survive long enough for the disease to vanish naturally, to end.
To run its course.
Yes, to run its course. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Mm.
And the final one.
I saw you
obviously-
grabbing and threw you the word.
Yes. And the final one, of course, is that you die.
Yeah, that's a pretty efficient way of getting rid of it too.
Yes.
Less desirable, but it's a way.
Yes, I would prefer not to go that way.
And
I can imagine.
and also the good thing is, because you managed to help with your heal checks, the disease isn't spreading to others on the ship.
So it was only our little group on Ormer?
Yes.
That's lucky.
You're
Go ask.
Very
That's
lucky.
Sophie.
Yeah.
Go
Go
Gylfie!
Gylfie, but if he fails one of them, yikes.
Yeah.
And the checks are going to get harder.
Question: Can I work towards concocting some herbal, like not
Yes.
not
Yes, you-
cure, but something
Yes,
that
you
will
can.
reinforce the body?
Yes, absolutely you can. You
Ooh,
have
a little bit
you have
divided,
herbalism, right?
Yeah. Herbal law.
Herbal
Herbal
lore,
lore.
yes, that's the one. Go ahead, and you can use that to make exactly. You can use that to make some kind of potion or something along those lines. So go ahead and give me a check. Excellent, excellent. You realize that you can use the gold clover you have, but it's going to cost you you won't have any left.
Oh well. It's there to be used too.
True. So you're using that, and you brew up a potion.
And I have some of the ointment from the Lotus Empire that does similar thing.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, the ointment that
The creepy old
helped
man.
with the creepy old man. One was a powder that needed to be mixed up, and it worked kind of like Panodine.
Yeah, it did.
And lowered temperatures.
Yes.
And eased pain.
Yes.
And the one that helped the wound scab over.
Yep.
So you stop bleeding.
So.
I already doxed it from the.
No problem. You make your potion. It's pretty foul. It doesn't smell nice. It certainly doesn't taste nice. It's not the gold clover in itself is foul. It's the other ingredients in there that it reeks when it's presented to each of you. So the question, of course, is whether you drink it or not. Ormer does, but he does make a face, and he almost recoils from it. It's like, this had better work, Gylfi, because this stinks. Oh.
Donna makes a face so happy she doesn't have to drink it.
Thrody drinks it almost greedily and then spends quite a while keeping it down.
Yes!
But, that's going to work, yes.
Yes. This
It was basically Frody thinking, I don't want to die, I'm gonna do this.
You are slowly turning a very delicate shade of blue-green your face from drinking this shit. It's absolutely, it's you are definitely. The question for you right now is, what is actually worse, trying to keep this horrible thing down or the plague? But it only takes about. It takes about an hour after you've drunk it, and then finally your stomach settles, and then it takes about another hour after that, and then you need to stick your bottom over the side of the ship, as in right now. Exactly. That it is very efficient at cleaning you out.
I think
at this point Ilva just leaves because
Yes.
I think some heartfelt prayers to the Lord of Waters apologising for muddying his sacred waters might be in order.
Yes. But it means that
indeed.
It means that the following day, obviously, I need to see another roll for those who are still sick. So I need a roll for Ormer, and one for Frothy, and one for Gylfi.
Yes, and what are the penalties?
There are none on the second day, but for the first one, because of the potion, amongst other things. But I need to see Frothy's, Gylfi's roll, his folk medicine roll first.
Oh, folk medicine.
Oh no, that's fine. You can roll the other one as well. But Gylfi at least manages his health roll.
How many folk medicine rolls? Just
3.
one or
3?
1.
Nice.
Ooh.
2.
3.
Yes. Excellent.
Sorry about that.
That is good. And the rest of
Gylfi is a good boy.
And I need a roll from the others as well.
Oh my
Jesus.
god.
That's a critical fail.
Sorry, you're gonna die.
Yeah, I think so.
Please don't though.
And
getting a backup installed is going to be such a hassle.
And also, Captain Ormer doesn't manage his either, although it's not a crit failure. I need to see a roll from. Let's see. Nope, those were it. But it means Gylfi, you manage to expunge it from your own system. You get over it.
All them drugs.
Yes.
All them drugs. It.
The problem is, of course, that both the captain and Frothy are affected by this, and Frothy actually is so badly affected that he jumps once. He skips a stage on the disease, so he's not in stage 2. He's you're all in stage 1 to begin with. He is now in stage 3.
Ooh.
Yeah,
And
don't crit fail stuff.
That's bad, and the captain is in stage 2. This means that the captain is incapable of rowing the following day. He's basically sitting there wrapped up in a blanket beside
Frothy.
Yeah, at the stem of the ship, and Frothy is unconscious.
Probably having all sorts of nasty fever dreams.
You are having the most unbelievably unpleasant, horrific fever dreams, in fact. Many of them are dealing with, you're reliving experiences that you've had, like the various things you saw in the Lotus Empire, except every time something good happened, now in your dream you're reliving it, something awful happens instead.
Oh. Yeah, that's not fun.
And seeing as you remember all the good things that are supposed to happen, every time something bad happens, it comes as a surprise and an awful feeling.
Of course. That's not fun.
Nope. So, we need another check for the following day. Folk medicine again, for 2 rolls.
Bloom.
Yeah.
Bloom.
Yep, and then I need...
Hey, that was a crit, wasn't it?
Nope.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 3, 4, and 5 are crits. 6 is a crit if you have more than 16 in a stat.
Yeah, that was an 8.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. There you go. And
Ooh.
I need one from the Frothy as well.
Yes. Penalties?
None. You still have the benefit of the potion.
Yay!
There you go.
It means
Good
that
boy.
you both regress a stage.
So now I just need a blanket.
Now you wake up and you're conscious for the following day, but you're not able to do any kind of rowing or anything. The captain is back to being able to help on
So
the
stage
oars.
1, right?
Yes, he's back to stage 1. And
Frothy is on stage 2, the one he skipped last time.
yes, no, Frothy is down to stage 2 and is therefore, he's awake, but he's not in a physical condition where he can really do much of anything.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping tabs on how long. I know this is a lot of rolls, but I'm keeping tabs on how long you have until you hit shore.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
I'm guessing the rolls is 1 a day.
yes, exactly.
At what stage do we die?
Stage 5.
Oh, okay. Good. I mean, that's good to know.
Stage
no
4
more
is
crits from you. No crit fails from you, Frothy.
Stage 4
Stop it.
is coma. That's an actual coma. And if you fail one more from there, you go into So
You
let's
die.
see another folk medicine check for the following day for 2 people.
The thing.
Oh, that was gambling.
Why did you roll gambling?
It's right
Well,
under
there you go.
the thing.
There you go. Ooh, that was
Good
high
for
roll, but
getting
you
tired.
managed.
He's
Yeah.
gambling with us, oh no!
So we need another roll.
Go Frothy!
Oh! Woohoo! Both of you manage, which means that you're back up right in stage 1, and you're the last man who's sick because the captain manages to shake it.
Let's throw him overboard.
To be fair, he was also the one that was worse off.
Let's get the final roll for the next day. Hopefully, the final roll. Whoa! That was first aid, but that's fine. We still we know that you have 17, so it's still you manage. Let's get.
Gilfy's drunk.
Oh fucking hell!
God damn it.
Dang it.
There you go.
Stop ruining my work.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, you go back and forth between stage 1 and 2. I'm afraid.
Makes sense.
Can I just cut out his liver?
That
Well,
would make things so much worse.
Towards evening of this day, the lookout says that he sees he can see seagulls. And the point being, of course, that if you can see seagulls, you are getting closer to land.
Yes.
Yes.
And that means we need a roll for the following day.
Oh wait, old medicine is here. Okay.
There you go.
Hey, he's not longer drunk.
There you go.
That
Look at
wasn't
that.
Get a roll from. Ooh, Rasmus!
Crit.
You actually crit that, so you managed to kick it at last. You wear it out, basically. You wear it out.
Yes.
Yes. My body has been burning with fever, but I am used to the fire.
Yes, in fact, that is the case, and you are now, all of those of you who were infected with this, on the weird off chance that you should ever come across the same disease again, you are in fact immune to it. But
Guessing Ilva isn't because she wasn't afflicted in the first place.
exactly. But
yes.
yes. But the point here is, you get you manage to kick it, and not long after you realize that while you're obviously exhausted because of this, Frothy, you like everyone else on board hear the lookout shouting land.
Ah.
Oh well. It's over and we found land.
Land is going to be good.
Gilfy just tired, just goes lies, watch under some bench.
Right.
You
So
what?
the ship is turned towards, fully towards land, and you get closer and follow the coastline, obviously. And the point, of course, here is let's see if we can't find some kind of settlement, even if it's just a small one. And even if it's just a small, no, nobody kicked the bucket. You had the advantage of having a Gilfy on board. The Phalans didn't.
Well, fuck 'em.
So, yep, you are in fact you're moving up the coastline here, or along the coastline, and as Ormer says, even if it's just a small fishing village or something, getting some provisions would be a good idea. And some of the men here are like almost in a raiding kind of mood, but Ormer is pretty adamant that no, we're not going to attack a village unless we have no other choice. We don't have the option of just sailing back to Svartalfen and to Hirborg, and staying there. We can't afford to make enemies willy-nilly everywhere like that. It's not an option. This is a voyage. This is a voyage of exploration first and foremost, and adventure. And
we still need to wash our armor.
And you still need to wash your armor and re-oil it and everything.
Yeah, and that's easier on land without being attacked.
Absolutely. But towards the middle of the afternoon, again you get a shout from the yard arm, where the lookout is standing up on top of the yard. Basically, he's holding on to the mast and he's standing here. And then and he says he can see a city. He can see city walls.
Oh.
And obviously,
Yay! Any flags?
Any sorry, what?
Any flags?
He can't
Banners?
he can't see those yet. It's still too far away. But
Do we even know where we are?
Ormer is pretty certain that you are. Well, he knows that you are somewhere along the Lion Coast, but where exactly on the Lion Coast is a very, very good guess.
Nova, so happy she bought extra sets of clothes.
I mean, yeah. He's been rocking around in his Lotus formal wear for the last few days.
I think
Didn't he get an extra set into your class? Oh, sorry.
That's true. I think, did we?
Yes, you did. All of you got extra clothes in CharismaToAC and from the lady that you helped.
Yeah.
In that case, there's no reason to go around in your noble finery.
I suppose, although
it would ruin the clothes if you did so.
You
are on board a ship with a low seaboard and you're doing very, very, very heavy physical labor in rowing this thing. If you wear your finery, it'll be ruined.
Rogue is durable, but not that durable.
Yeah, Ilva has a commoner's outfit from the Lotus Empire and 2 from tier class.
Yes.
That's a good point. Okay, yes, we have plenty of
space. So she bought extra set of clothing.
Yes, and even if you didn't, then
it's a long voyage and we kind of, don't know how much we're gonna go through.
And even if you didn't, your comrades would have, somebody has a spare tunic and somebody has a pair of breeches that you can fit, and between them, you'd get some clothes.
Yeah. The cold rain of your reason pouring upon my bonfire of madness is greatly appreciated.
No problem.
Lol.
But anyway, it takes a little while, but you can see ships as well here, and in fact, one such ship approaches you, and I'm just going to give me a second here. Yes, you haven't seen this kind of ship before, so
we haven't.
No.
Ooh.
There you have it.
That's
the fuck?
Ship.
Oh my good god.
The fuck is that?
That looks like
Looks like a tank on water.
Well, it's only got one sail, so what is I cannot remember what the name of this type of ship is.
It's a very early form of galley.
Yes, basically it is basically a galley.
Yes, it's a very early version of them.
I think Ilva remarked, "Well, that looks weird."
It's a good ship for inshore sailing, but it's not a very good ship for going out to open sea, obviously.
Obviously.
But
smack a roof on it and it looks like a submarine.
Yes, one of these things approaches you and
at ramming speed. Or
no, not at ramming speed. Not it's not.
It's not being aggressive.
No, it's not being aggressive. But you are strangers here, and it's pretty clear that they are there to figure out who you are.
Yeah. What is that?
And sorry.
Yeah, we don't want to piss these guys off. We don't want to piss them off because that ship could very easily take us on.
There are enough people on board that they could. You're also pretty certain that it would be very maneuverable. Probably not quite as fast as your own, because it's got a deeper draft, but not by much. But that ram is just ew.
Yeah.
Don't get hit by that. That's a pretty terminal experience. But yes, you are And you are approached by this thing, and the man at the prow, the man up front, calls out to you, and in very badly mangled Southlander.
Okay.
How nice of him.
He says, "Southmen, who you?" And Ormer gets up and walks up to the prow of the ship and answers who he is. And the man on the other ship shouts, "No weapons!" And Ormer holds, he holds his arms out to his side to show that he has no hostile intent. And this strange vessel comes closer, and he shouts some more instructions, and it takes a while because he really isn't terribly good in your language, but he does obviously recognize your ship type and who you are as Southlanders. So he manages to make it clear that you are to follow him into port. And Ormer frowns a little and is like, I don't like the idea of us being ordered about like that, but well,
They know we're Southlanders, and maybe they've been raided before and just wants to make sure.
That's a good point, Ilva. All right, we will play along, and everybody, don't start waving your weapons around until we don't have any other choice, but be ready just in case, okay? And the sail is reefed at this point, and the ship is sailed closer on under oars alone. And you make it into port, and I will show you to a new
background.
Arabian Night. Sorry.
I see.
Wasn't expecting it to look quite so civilized.
They have skinny trees.
They have skinny trees, yes.
Odd trees.
Are you sure
Silva
this
points
is...
them out. Skinny trees. They look weird.
They do.
And you are directed to sail into the harbor and you are moored there. There are people who help moor the ship so that it's safely fastened to the pier. And there are soldiers present. You can see troops. But I mean, they haven't drawn their weapons. They're not attacking you, but it's pretty obvious that they are, wary of you.
Makes sense to me.
Ilva is still surprised. She did the thinking and made a good point without even noticing.
Well, I think we're going to follow the captain's lead on this one. So
That seems the smartest.
Probably is.
Let us be non-threatening and compliant, for lack of a better term, I suppose.
Luckily for Ilva, that's easy because she doesn't have a resting bitch face like Sindri does.
Mm-hmm. No, I suppose not.
And she's also wearing regular daily clothes.
You
She's
are
not even dressed like Ori at the moment.
You are met on the the pier, as I said, by a number of soldiers, and amongst those soldiers is this man. He steps forward as you guys get ashore, and he looks up and down each of you with pretty much. It's pretty clear that he's determining how powerful each of you would be. You know, how good you would be in a fight. So he's sizing you up, basically.
Question.
Yes.
How baggy is the clothes you usually wear into your glass?
Not very. Not very.
In that case, he would totally see Ilva's excessive muscles.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I'm just, you know,
I'm actually
making
imagining.
sure.
I'm actually imagining that the tunic that she's wearing is sleeveless.
Probably is.
You know, so.
And she has a strength of 16.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely taking all of you in, as if, you know, sizing you up and so on. But yeah.
I think he is taken in return.
Yes. And he.
How tall are the people here?
Well, they're very different, actually. You can see a few. For the most part, they are. They're shorter than you, obviously, but they're fairly tall, really, most of them.
So between Tear Glass and Southlanders?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
But anyway, he does step forward and says in heavily accented, but certainly understandable Southlander, he says, "It has been a while since we saw one of your ships. Peaceful or plunder?" "Well, peaceful now, anyway," and he says with a crooked grin. And Ormer grins back and says, I'd be a fool if I admitted that I was here to plunder anyone, but as it is, I'm not. My crew and I are, well, we're on a long adventure to discover the world, see as much of it as we can. And the soldier nods and says, "Well, that's that's as good a story as any I've heard. In that case, welcome to Tethmem. But just be aware that people here are, well, we're not pushovers. We're not going to take kindly to troublemakers. We've seen your kind before, as you can probably tell, since I speak your language. I would suggest that you make an effort to learn ours. Not many of us speak your tongue." And Ormer nods and he says, "Well, we've been making an effort to learn languages elsewhere as well, so why not here too?" And he says, "Is there a place in, what was it, Tethmem, that can accommodate as many people as we are, or do we need to spread out over several hostels and inns and whatnot?" And what's it called? The soldier nods and says, "Well, there are a few, but I don't think any of them could take this many. You'll find some up along the quays. However, a few of you, let's say, you, Captain, and you can bring a small group. I'll let you decide who. You will need to go with me to meet the lord of the city. And Ormer nods and says, well, that would be a privilege, certainly. I'm assuming that we're not supposed to go there armed. And the soldier grins and says, you assume correctly, Captain. Don't worry, we won't hurt you. And he looks back over his shoulder at you guys and says, well, as per usual, and you, Granny, you come with me as well. And then he looks back to the soldier and says, those are the people I want to bring. So, what do you...
Ilva first smiles, then realizes what that means and looks at her hammer with a, oh no, I can't leave my baby!
Ormer looks at you and says, no, you have to leave it here with the others.
And then he gets the biggest pouch she can manage.
Don't worry, Ilva. I'll protect you.
Right.
Oh, Ilva, for goodness sake, stop behaving like a child.
She eyes Sindri. Can't you take another one? I don't want to be with those two anymore.
No. I would like for you to come along, Ilva. Please leave the hammer with the others.
Deeply.
I'm sure if you leave it with Black Sweetie, he's going to look after it nicely.
He goes over to the two other battle maidens and hands it over.
All right, yeah, that
they
makes sense.
understand it.
Yes, they do. They look at you with deep and sincere sympathy in their eyes. Don't worry,
And
we
then
will
they
make
get
sure
her
nothing.
mace too,
We will take good care of your babies until you come back.
and her shield,
Yes.
and the dagger she had in her boot.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
and then you guys follow the soldiers up towards the palace.
Yep.
Yes. And as you pass through the streets of Tethmem, you see quite a lot of different people. They're all very dark-skinned, or a few of them slightly less so than others, but basically this is an African style culture, North African style culture. So you see everyone with a skin tone ranging from what we would consider Middle Eastern to pitch black.
I assume that's not something we've seen before.
No.
Thrody is gawking as a...
They're also very dark-haired too, right?
Yes, they're very, very dark-haired. They are many of them are extremely well built. They're very athletic people for the most part.
Yep.
Thrody is definitely
Sindri will-
staring.
Yes.
Ilva is actually noting down, like she's done with the other places they've been.
Yes.
Sindri will mutter to the group. See, if he passes by someone whose skin is particularly, as you say, black skinned, as if like coal black.
Yes, you do.
He'll actually mutter and say, "I must say, I'm almost envious to be able to be that colour skin in the dark when hunting."
Right, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but in the snow you'd be seen in a minute.
Very true.
That's true.
Very true. But then I suppose I could just put some white furs or clothes on.
I think it's best you have clothes on in the snow, Sindri.
Yeah,
Very funny.
don't walk
Thank
around
you.
naked in the snow.
Well, I'm yes. Let's keep going then.
If you start striking through the city, I will knock you down.
I think it would be worth it just for the indignant look on your face.
You do
Please
see
don't.
one person in particular who gets your attention as you walk past. Simply because he is actually taller than any of you.
Cool. Is that a he?
Wow.
Oh. It looked like a female because the thing.
Yes.
What's it called? Fabric.
Yes.
Is formed the way it is.
Yes.
So you can't actually see half his chest.
Indeed, but he is very, very tall and, you know, long-limbed, very powerfully built. He could probably. You guys are in no doubt that he must be an exceptionally fast runner for one thing, and he would also be he would be a powerful man to fight.
Yes. How easy is it, based obviously not standing on one foot in the field, but how easy it is for Sindri as a hunter and scout himself? How easy is it to tell that the Kale is the same, that he is of that same profession?
He's got some. He moves in the same sort of way as you do, and yeah.
Then, if he's paying attention to us, Sindri would incline his head respectfully, because he clearly he's in the presence of a peer, basically.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he nods back at you as you walk past him. And I mean, the point is that while you guys are staring and gawking at the locals are staring and gawking at you as well. Because
I don't think it's a matter of staring and gawking for Ilva. It's mostly curiously looking around.
Yes.
She can't really see the difference in nuances, but she can really see the difference in them.
Yes.
Like, I mean, look at these hairy, pale skinned things.
Yes.
And if she catches one of them looking at her, she'll just smile back.
Yes.
Like, hello.
Well, you manage to catch the eye of a young boy who, well, young boy as in he's probably no more than 7 or 8. And he sees you and you smile back at him and he bolts away. Because, oh my goodness, the huge, scary, very strange looking woman just smiled at me. Is she going to eat me? Ah! Run away.
She looks a little shocked with a what the fuck? Am I that scary? She whispers to Gylfi.
Gylfi just does like hand motion, like, you know, fiddy
I
fiddy.
smiled nicely at him.
Yeah. Different definition of nice.
You think it's rude to smile here?
You are also...
I have no idea.
You pass through a marketplace on the way up there, and the smells and the sights that you see, it's incredible. You see strange animals being sold. You see.
Look at that one, Ilva.
She can't help it because she's fucking curious, so she ends up, patting the man that's leading them through the city on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And goes, "What on earth is that?"
That one? That's a monkey.
What's a monkey?
What's that?
That is a monkey. Since you ask.
What's that one? He points to the same thing Ilva pointed to.
That is called a screaming monkey.
Why is it screaming?
It starts screaming.
Oh my.
Wow.
That's basically a howler monkey.
Yeah.
Oh god, that is one of the loudest creatures on God's earth.
Yes.
That sounds like Vibranta when he sings.
You have one.
It does.
You have something like that on your ship? I feel sorry for you.
No, it's a man, and he's not a good singer. It sounds somewhat like that when he tries to.
Oh. Well, maybe they can sing a duet, the man grins.
Oh, he's not getting one. They'll be the best of friends forever.
Well, you are also led past a place where someone has taken an absolutely enormous man, the hairiest man you've ever seen, and put him in a cage.
Why is that man in a cage?
That's not a man, he says.
Is it some kind of Trauger creature?
I don't know what that is, but he says, and looks at Ormer, and then immediately says, "Do not smile at it." And Ormer is like, "Oop, oop," and covers his mouth, and he says, "It's." They see, if you smile at one of these creatures, they see it as you challenging it, and that has the strength of 5 men.
What is it?
We call them greybacks.
Oh, it's a gorilla, basically.
Yeah, it's an oversized gorilla.
Does it have a greyback?
Sorry, what did you say, Rasmus?
Thrody asks, does it have a greyback?
Yes, it does.
I guess it's kind of like when the gorillas have silverbacks. That's the biggest male of the flock.
Yes.
Interesting.
For a moment, it looked like a man. That's strange.
I still think it does. Just a very, very ugly, hairy man.
Well, we tend to think that that the powers have made them to look so much like us, to taunt us a little once in a while, to remind us that in the end we're all animals.
Ah, that is a good thought.
Sounds like something they do. She says very dryly, as in, I hate them.
I mean, Sindri looks at this and says, "It does seem like the kind of thing that our Lord of Laughter might come up with as a taunt."
Oh yeah, he would.
Your Lord of Laughter, is that one of your powers? He asks.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Just because he's called the Lord of Laughter doesn't mean he's a nice person, though.
That is so unfair. Tell her to stop calling me mean things.
Thrody cringes.
Do all of us hear it?
No,
or is
just
it
Frothy. Just Frothy.
Oh, good.
But you can, I mean, you can totally see the Thrody cringes.
Are you okay?
Now. Don't be shy. Tell her to stop. I am one of the powers.
You kind of sounding like the hairy man back in the cage now. What's going on?
Nothing. I'm fine.
No, you're not, and I'm
Okay.
going to give you a headache. I'm going to give you a headache. Tell her. Tell
I already
her.
have a headache.
I'm gonna make it worse. Tell her. Tell her.
Who are you talking to, Frody?
I'd rather not say. You just think me insane.
I already do. Can't get worse.
Well, in that case, the Lord of Laughter is insulted. He's quite petty and would like you to stop.
Ha! Never.
I'm going to give her a headache.
Let me know if you get a headache.
She gets a headache.
Huh?
Suddenly it starts throbbing
It's just
behind Ylva's eyes.
She does the... and then it makes a face. Yeah, okay.
Ow.
Bloody powers.
At least that confirms that I might not be crazy.
Oh, you totally are.
Of course you're crazy.
I mean,
You have
I think
followed
perhaps
your
the-
captain on this wild goose chase all the way around the world. Of course you're nuts.
On the upside, Frody, I now share your pain.
Can't you jump into Ylva's head? I'm sure she has much more interesting things going on.
You're far more fun. All of your secrets, they are so delicious.
I'm so
I'm
happy
going
he's
to
not
stay
in
right
Ylva's
here
head, though.
I'm going to stay right here until you finally stop lying to everyone.
I'm so happy he's not in Ylva's head. Holy shit.
Thrody comments,
Oh my
I don't like lying. Did you
No,
hear
I
that, Jen?
didn't. Sorry.
Through comments, I thought you liked lies.
Oh, I do. But in this case, I think I'm going to like the truth even more.
But you already know it.
Yes, but your friends don't. What kind of friend are you anyway, who's lying to your comrades and your crewmates about something so important? You really are a very horrible person, you know that?
So, what's that over there? Thordy asks the man, because he's not in the mood to talking to this power anymore.
No. He says, oh, so you're going to try to ignore me, are you? Oh, I'm just going to sit over here and sulk. Sulk! 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 Sulk!
I will never hear Frothy call Ilva childish again.
Mm-hmm.
I, as a player, will revolt if Frothy ever called Ilva childish again.
It's a matter of degree.
Yeah, but no one outchilds the Lord of Laughter.
Nope.
No one.
Really not.
I could show them. You know that, right? I can show them.
I am kind of busy.
Yeah, but you're not busy telling them the truth.
Sindri's interested in what our escort is making of this weird conversation where you can't hear one side of
He's
it.
actually stopped walking and is now looking intently at Frothy. He was like, what is going on?
Don't pay attention. He knows Fro like her. You know, makes things happen out of nowhere.
Oh, magic.
Yeah.
See. Well,
Oh,
They
that's
have a
what we're
tendency to go slightly insane when you're from the south.
I'm not insane.
That's the
No, but-
person who has an entire conversation.
It's actually a good point that we. It's actually a good point that we bring it up now. Will you need to take any special precautions for him?
no. There will be people there who will be able to handle it in case he gets any funny ideas. Ooh, funny ideas, somebody says in your head. Oh, let's see, I could start flinging fireballs out of, maybe one coming out of your nostril, and if you fart, I could send a fireball somewhere, and should I do that? Truth.
Don't you have something better to do? Aren't you a power? Surely you must have important power business to attend to.
Yes, I do, all over the place, and right now my very important power business is getting a good laugh out of you.
I already laughed once.
Yes, I mean my good laugh. I'm having a ball with this.
Oh, I'll have to devise a strategy to be boring then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be able to be boring, even if you tried.
Wouldn't you much rather sit down and play a game of Tuffle with me?
You know what? That's an interesting idea. I could sit down and play a game of Tafel with you at some point. Yes, I could.
Did you just
let's do
invite the power to play Tuffle with you?
Well, maybe if I win, I can make him promise to leave me alone.
When he wins, he says.
I said if.
Okay, if. Yes, that even the if part is tenuous.
Right.
You know, Frothy, if he's in your head, he can already see everything you want to do. How are you going to win against him?
Perhaps I should invoke someone else.
Anyway, you guys keep walking up towards the palace after a moment longer, and before we get there, I'm going to take our break for tonight. We've gone somewhat over time, but we're just going to have 2 parts today, I believe. We started a little later and so on, so that's fine. But ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience, please don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more of The Long Voyage in just a moment.